You've been told that if you just vibrate on the right frequency, the universe will deliver what you want. So you visualized, you affirmed, you tried to feel grateful for things you don't have yet. And here you are, still waiting, still stuck in the same job, the same relationship status, the same life. What you want isn't floating around in the universe waiting for you to match its frequency. It's already within you. I'm going to show you how to access it. You'll get what you want faster than you ever could by chasing vibrational alignment. It's based on Neuro Linguistic Programming, NLP, and I've used it for over a decade to create the life I want and to help hundreds of clients create real results. Not metaphysical promises, but real change. If you're done waiting for the universe to get its act together, this video is for you. By the end of it, you'll know exactly what to focus on, and it won't be your vibration. I once thought that vibrating on the right frequency was a very attractive idea. Almost anything being thrown around in self-help and personal development is attractive when you're at your lowest. But after diving into it, I realized that the majority of this stuff doesn't work. At the same time, I wasn't willing to give up on working through my limiting beliefs and trying to figure out what I needed to do to create the life I wanted to live. When I look back on being broke with nothing in my life working well, hopelessness drove me to find answers. I couldn't see my way out of my problems and the limitations I was bumping up against. Then these supposedly super successful people tell me to just vibrate on the right frequency, and somehow these problems will magically dissolve and the universe will surround me with everything I've ever wanted. That's a very attractive thing to someone who feels hopeless and helpless. Because these ideas give people a sense of hope, you might be thinking that that's good, but it's actually the problem. Because we only reach for hope when we feel hopeless. When we hope for something, we disempower ourselves. Now, if I hope that the sun comes out tomorrow instead of rain, that's fine, because I don't control the weather. But when we hope that our lives will get better, or we hope that we're able to achieve something we want, you're basically saying it's not within your control. And if you do get what you want, it's only by chance. That's a problem. When it comes to what's within your power, like creating the life you want to live, don't reach for hope, because you're not hopeless. Take full responsibility for creating what you want in your life. The idea of vibrating on the right frequency is exactly that for people. It's hope. It's more like cope, though. No one can tell you how to vibrate on that frequency because there is no actual frequency. It's nothing but a metaphor. And as a metaphor, it's nice. Being grateful and having a positive attitude will help you. But that's not a vibration. That's connecting with your gratitude. That's connecting with what's good in your life and taking action to build upon it. So when we're seeking out these nebulous ideas that aren't really techniques, it means that you don't feel like you're enough or that you don't feel good enough. And so you imagine reaching out into the abundant universe to try to pull yourself up. I can speak honestly about this because I've been there. I didn't feel like I was enough, and I tried out a lot of these ideas. Even if there were things that I tried that actually do work, a lot of times I wouldn't allow them to work. Because if I didn't feel like I was enough, it made whatever I tried not good enough either. I wouldn't accept the results even if they were positive. So instead of reaching for ideas like vibrating on the right frequency, take full ownership of how you feel even when you feel like you're not enough. You're enough. But if you're not feeling like it, know that the problem is self-worth and not that you don't have enough self-worth. The truth is, there is no such thing as self-worth. That doesn't mean you don't matter. It means that there is no way to measure your worth. Therefore, there is no such thing as being good enough or not good enough. It's just a feeling, and you can resolve that feeling. Your beliefs are what's holding you in that awful feeling, but you can transform those beliefs. I'll show you how. For now, if you're not feeling like you're enough, assume you are enough. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know I'm very critical of fake it till you make it. I don't think that does anything for you other than teach you how to be fake. No amount of faking confidence will turn into real confidence any more than fat turns into muscle. What does work well is what is called in NLP the as-if frame. That is to act as if or think as if so you can access more information about what it takes to get yourself where you want to go. This is not about faking anything. This is not about pretending you already have something and trying to convince yourself of it. You're fully aware that you're still not where you want to be. When you act as if you already are enough, you're actually aligning with the truth. You are enough. And you're bypassing the feeling that you're not enough so you can move and function in the direction of getting what you want. It's a way to use your mind to get beyond its own limits, which is completely different from trying to fake something until you believe it. So you can still be present to the feeling that you don't quite feel like you're enough, but then ask yourself, what would I do differently here and now if I am enough? And whatever answer you get, do it. That will get you moving. Something else people do when they don't feel like they're enough is chase after every new self-help trend as if it might have the final answers they've been looking for. Regardless of whether they actually work, if you don't feel like you're enough, the techniques will never be enough. One of the problems I see with people when they're learning NLP is they just want to learn a new technique and then move on to the next technique and then to the next. They never fully stop and learn one good NLP technique or process. Bruce Lee used to say, don't fear the man who knows 10,000 different kicks. Fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. If you learn one NLP technique really well, in other words, that will take you much further than chasing 100 techniques that you never master. Make a technique work before moving on to the next one, and you'll see amazing results. If you only master one NLP model, by the way, master the one I'm about to introduce to you. It's called the self-concept model. More on that in a moment. Now, if you like the idea of frequencies as a metaphor, I don't really see a problem with it, but the main thing to remember is that metaphors aren't meant to be applied literally. So stop trying to do that with the metaphor of frequency. If you burden yourself with trying to vibrate on the right frequency every morning when you wake up, you're just going to be frustrated because there is no real vibration. There's no frequency and no way to measure it or test it to know whether it's working or not. It's just a metaphor. And it's not frequencies that govern your reality or your life. It's your beliefs that do that. And it's the beliefs that you're not conscious of that have the most influence over you. For example, let's say you failed at a business and you believe you failed because the economy was bad. You can go to a different market. Problem fixed. But what if you believe that you're a failure? What's worse is that you might believe that and not even know it because it's an unconscious belief. Then it doesn't matter where you go. You will find a way to fail because you take you everywhere you go. If you believe you are a failure, you will see failure everywhere. The same is true when people believe that the world is a hostile and cruel place, for example. Instead of trying to change that belief, there's a deeper, more powerful belief holding that in place. What must a person believe about themselves for it to be true that the world is a cruel and hostile place? Chances are they probably believe that they are a victim. They could try to change their belief about the world, but if they don't change their belief about who they are, they're going to find a way to make the world support their belief. If all of your beliefs govern your reality, then which beliefs are the best ones to transform? The highest leverage point for change is to transform beliefs about yourself, especially the ones you're not conscious of, because they have the most influence over your reality. But you can make these beliefs conscious and transform them. Remember the model I mentioned, the self-concept model? My mentor, the late Steve Andreas, created it. It is the most powerful, most effective model for transforming beliefs about yourself. You can try changing beliefs about the world around you, and you might have some success. But if you change the beliefs about who you are, it will have a cascading effect over all of your beliefs. Your reality is based on you. Transform yourself, and your reality will transform. I'm going to give you an overview of this belief change process based on the self-concept model. I've created a PDF for you, which you can download that will walk you through each of the steps. You'll find a link to it in the description of this video. Watch the overview I'm about to give you first, then download the PDF so you can use it to transform your beliefs. After I do the overview, I will show you how you can get a free, more in-depth training on this exact process. If you still need help, let me know in the comments below. I will respond to you. Let's get started. When you have a belief about yourself, that belief has to be supported by examples. Your lived experiences are the evidence in which your beliefs are generated. It's what makes them feel real. Let's say you believe you're a victim and you would rather be empowered instead. That's the belief you want to have about yourself, that you're an empowered person. The first thing we would do is to see if you have any examples of being an empowered person. And of course you do, even if you don't realize it. You always have examples of every belief that you would like to believe as long as it's realistic. You have experienced empowerment in your life, so we go looking for those examples. Then we want to find the optimal location for those examples so they feel certain and solid. How we find that out is you take a belief about yourself that you like and already feels certain and solid. Ask, what are examples of this in my life? And then notice how many of those examples pop up and where the location of those examples are. When I say location, I don't mean where you experience these examples. It's where in your personal space they appear. All of your thoughts are organized in your personal space. That might sound strange if you're new to this work, but the more you do this, the more it will be obvious to you. For a quality that you're already certain about, you want to know how many examples you have that support that belief and where those examples are located. Do you access these examples simultaneously or sequentially? Meaning, are you accessing many examples at one time, like a collage, or one at a time, like a deck of cards? Then we want to know what modalities you're using. Are you accessing these examples visually, auditorily, or both? You also want to know if you're associated, meaning when you access your examples, do you see yourself in them like you're looking at a picture of yourself, or do you step into the memory and actually relive it? Then we can get into submodalities. If you're looking at visual representations, you'd want to know what size they are, how bright they are they movies or still images? For auditory, you have volume and tone. I know this sounds like a lot, and that's why I put it all together for you in the PDF I mentioned. It's not difficult, it's just detailed. Once you're able to model how you create a belief about yourself that you like and feel certain and solid, then you use that same template to map in examples to transform other beliefs. So if you wanted to be an empowered person, you would find examples in your life of being empowered and then put them in that same template. You don't mix one quality with another. They each get their own database. You just use that template because there's something special about that structure that makes what you put in it feel real. Where and how your brain structures information changes how true it feels. Before I show you how to get that deep dive training on this that I mentioned earlier, I recommend taking your time with this process and enjoy it. Get the PDF to walk you through it. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions. It will completely transform how you see yourself and what you're capable of creating in your life. If you're ready for the deep dive, you'll find it right here on your screen. It will walk you through all of the steps and go much deeper into identity shifting using the self-concept model. I look forward to seeing you there.